Hi, my friends. So, first of all, it's quite windy today, so if you hear the wind whooshing, there's nothing you can do about it because I'm sure the mic will capture some of that stuff. But today I want to talk about your mindset and how it matters a lot. I've talked about this in the past in other videos, how we see ourselves, how we perceive ourselves, how we think about ourselves. And now, the most important part of all is how we feel about ourselves. This will absolutely be reflected outwards, projected into the world outside of you. And everything that you think about yourself, everything that you feel about yourself, and all of these factors, they matter a lot. They matter a lot more than you may think. And perhaps you already know this, and if that's the case, that's huge plus for you. But not everyone is aware of these things, even though many people talk about these things. I think what ends up happening is a lot of people end up discarding these things, thinking that it's not like that and this and that. But have you ever stopped to seriously think about this stuff and consider, and then not just that, just look around you and see how things work? Because these things will most definitely not only reflect outside of you, but that's going to determine everything that happens in your life. Because every single one of us is creating our own reality on the go. Yes, there will be some things that is going to be um, determined by the collective consciousness of everybody, but your personal experience, for the most part, almost entirely, is determined by you and you alone. And if people truly understood how powerful of a thing that is, their lives would be a lot different than they are currently. That is for sure. So, as long as people see themselves as a victim, as a failure, as someone who's not worthy, someone who's unloved, unlovable, someone who always has some sort of sickness, whether physical illness or mental, all of these things, as long as people are carrying these ideas within themselves and they're feeling that way, and like I said, feeling is the biggest factor here. Not that the other ones won't matter, they will, but feeling is the game changer. So if you're feeling that way about things like that, the stuff that I just mentioned, you may really want to start reconsidering how to change that, like right away. and how to understand that everything that's happening outside of you right now is a reflection of how you're really feeling about yourself within. Because everything you need is inside of you. Everything. And I mean everything. And once you start living your life that way, seeing things like that, understanding that you already have it all, you already are all that you need. Make that your daily motto. Make it an affirmation if you have to. I already am all that I need. Abundance is my birthright. Being loved is my birthright. However you want to phrase it, however you want to call it. Receiving is my birthright. Write this down if you want, or make it your own. You don't have to follow someone's, system or whatever they tell to themselves. But you have to understand that you determine all of these things here in your heart, in your soul, your state of mind, your state of being, your presence, allowing yourself to be present, to be aware and self aware, to live in the moment, the now, because that is the only thing that matters in life. Everyone is preconditioned and, and programmed to always either live in the past and keep thinking about past things that happen. And it's usually all the bad stuff too. Have you noticed that? It's usually always the bad stuff too. We never think about, for the most part, and this is true. Start thinking about it. Don't take my word for it. Start remembering things and see what comes through first. What is your personal tendency? Is it to remember the bad stuff, or do you remember all the good things that happened, for instance? So my suggestion to you is, if you have a tendency to look at your past and analyze it or whatever, think about it, because people tend to do things like this. It's like it's an automatic thing just because of preconditioning and programming and all that stuff. How about you switch it over, and instead of looking at all the bad stuff, look at all the good stuff instead. I bet you that you do a lot more better in your life than harm, as if you were doing the other way around and thinking about all the bad things that happen. And then the other thing is, people tended to project all kinds of things into their future, their own future. And look, there's nothing wrong with having some sort of plan or idea of where you want to be years from now or whatever. But when we are not living in the moment and focusing in the now, you really not living your life. Because if you truly want to live life, you got to be here right now. That is the only factor that matters and is relevant to yourself. Because once you start living your life that way, things will change for the better. I guarantee you. But you have to learn how to feel these things. It's almost kind of like relearning all kinds of things that we have been told since childhood from all these external places, factors about our own lives. And then you basically, what you are doing is you are reprogramming your mind with all the things that matter and all the things that actually will make a difference in your own life. And it might be a little rough at first, because you got to get used to it to do you got to start deprogramming yourself, and then you start reprogramming yourself in a positive way. Always. Because it's all about programming. We've been programmed, and that's just the way it is, guys. There's no way to like be nice about this stuff. We've been programmed to be that way. Because when you're programmed that way, you forget about how powerful you are and how so many great things you can do in your life with yourself if you actually believed that. The problem is we don't. Most of us don't. Because we've been conditioned and programmed to think that we can't. And that is a lie. That is how they get you. That is how they get you. They use your own power against yourself. Like I said, they know how to play this game. They've been doing this for thousands of years. But the game is up now. It's time to wake up, you know? Wake up and understand the power that you have. And instead of giving that away to this false idea that you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not worthy of this, or whatever negative mindset you've programmed yourself to be like, that's not true. Understand that on a deep level. Like, really. And then you gotta, once you go through this phase of deprogramming and reprogramming, you know use that power of yours to focus on all the good stuff, all the positive things. How amazing you are. Do you even know that? Do you even realize that? How beautiful of a person you are. The things, how many people throughout your life have changed their own lives because of you? Do you ever stop to think about that for a second? Because I guarantee you, no matter how bad you see yourself today, if that's how you're seeing yourself, I guarantee you that there have been people in your life throughout the span of your lifetime that somehow, based upon some things that you have done to help them out in some time of difficulty or whatever, as a friend, whatever the case may have been, I guarantee you, you have changed a few people's lives throughout your own journey. But you don't even know that. You don't realize that. Because we don't think about these things. We're so busy in this self-survival mechanism that we never think about things like that. But I'm telling you, I'm telling you, you've changed some people's lives and you may not even know that. And if you do that, let that, you know, let that sink in for a minute. That's a huge accomplishment. That's going to give you a lot of brownie points at some point in a next life, perhaps, or maybe even on this one. But you have to understand that this is how it works. So, yeah, your mindset, your state of being, the way you see yourself, how you perceive yourself in the eyes of others, it matters a lot. You have to understand that. Now, start feeling yourself for yourself and understand that you have it all. You just don't realize that yet. And then start this deprogramming thing and start reprogramming yourself if you haven't yet. And I'm telling you, you're going to change your life. This is not up for debating here. You're going to change your life. You will. I know it. Trust me. So, I'm going to leave this one here, my friends. I love you all. Never forget about loving yourself. Never stop loving yourself. And I will catch you all next time so that I can finish my hike here today. Okay? Take care, my friends.